Our lesson today is about ecosystem. First of all, I want you to look around you and list the living things and non-living things in your surrounding. Can you see all these living and non-living things? These are the things in your area and they form the environment that you are living in. So, all living things and non-living things in an area and its interactions form an ecosystem. So let's practice. If you observe this picture, you are going to see that this is a picture of an ecosystem. It's an ocean ecosystem. I want you to select the living things and the non-living things in the below picture. So you can discover that all living parts of an ecosystem depend on living parts. For example, plants need sunlight, soil, air, and water to grow. The living parts also depend on one another. For example, animals eat other living things. Some animals use plants for shelter. This is an example of interaction. This is how organisms interact between each other in an ecosystem.
Hello, friends. Today we'll learn about ecosystems. Do you know there are all kinds of individuals living right underneath you? You don't believe it. It's true, buddy. Come on, do one thing. Dig a little to see the creatures I'm talking about. Earth is full of living organisms. As you can see, there are giddy earthworms and tiny insects, such as ants. There are also larger animals living underground, such as this lovely meerkat and this badger. They live here, and it is their habitat. Isn't it interesting? Now, see some creatures that have habitats above ground. See how the squirrels are collecting nuts and birds are making beautiful nests in trees. Don't hurt the butterflies. It's their habitat, and they look lovely flying around the flowers. All the animals and trees you see in these habitats are part of an ecosystem. You can say an ecosystem is a large community of living organisms in a particular area. In an ecosystem, the living and physical components are linked together. Oh, you look confused. Let's understand this with an example. Look here. Plants drop their fruits and leaves on the ground. They slowly decay, and it gives the earthworms yummy bites. The insects and tiny earthworms fertilize the soil, which helps the plants to grow. Did you know that worms could be so useful? You know, earthworms are not the only ones who fertilize things. You can also fertilize your garden by making a compost pile. The plants in your garden will grow healthy vegetables and tasty fruits that you can eat. Friends, there are ecosystems everywhere. Two major types of ecosystem are terrestrial ecosystem. It's found only on landforms. Some examples are desert ecosystem, forest ecosystem, mountain ecosystem, and grassland ecosystem. Aquatic ecosystem. It exists in a water body. All the living organisms are dependent on each other and their surroundings for their survival. There are two subcategories of aquatic ecosystem: freshwater ecosystem and marine ecosystem. See, you've learned a lot about ecosystems now. Please drop a like, leave a comment, share the videos, and don't forget to subscribe. Our app, Learning Junction, is available on Play Store. Bye-bye.
Now I will keep you observing these pictures to discover some types of ecosystems. Now I want you to observe the following picture, then list the living things in this ecosystem. As you can see, the zebras, giraffes, and the plants live in the same area and share all its findings. These living things have interactions between each other. They form a community. What is a community? All living things that share the same ecosystem and its findings form a community. Now I want you to count with me how many giraffes are there in this community. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Then there are 6 giraffes that live together in the same community and share all the findings of the ecosystem they live in. This group of animals of the same type and species forms a population. Then let's sum up. A population is a group of the same type of living things or individuals that live in the same area. Several populations make up a community, and several individuals make up a population. Now observe the picture and try to figure out, where does the monkey live? Yes, it lives in the forest. How did you guess that? Because of the trees that are found in that place. The monkey was living on the trees in a forest. So, the trees in a forest was the habitat of the monkey. What is a habitat? A habitat is the place where a living thing makes its home. It is called a habitat. Why it's called a habitat? Because this animal is going to find food and shelter in this place. Now let's practice. I want you to order the following from the biggest to the smallest. We have population, ecosystem, individual, and community. That is super. The biggest one is the ecosystem because it contains the living and the non-living things in an area and their interactions. And inside this ecosystem, we have the community. We have several communities. The community is a group of living things that are sharing the findings of this place. Inside each community, we have several populations. A population is a group of the same type of organisms that are living together. So, this population is made up of a group of individuals of the same species. If you observe this picture, you can see different organisms that are living in this place. Can you figure out now the name of the environment shown in the above figure? True, it's the desert. Now I will give you some time to list 2 living and non-living things found in the figure to complete the table. As you can see here, in this environment, there is an animal that does not belong. What is this animal? And to which environment does it belong? Try to figure out. Then, the penguin doesn't belong to the desert. It belongs to the polar regions.